Thank you all for being here today. Yeah, and investing in yourself. And happy 2026. This year is still fresh, I would say. So happy New Year. And yeah, my name is Isabel. I'm with the TNAA Total Met Marketing Department. And today, yes, we want to talk about if you are ready to become a healthcare traveler. It is super excited. A lot of people already said they're new, they're looking into traveling. It's going to be very interesting for you today. But before we start, I know some of you might know us, but here's a little bit about TNAA and Total Med. So TNAA itself has been around for over 25 years, and Total Med is another trusted staffing agency known for its strong network. And yeah, we're super excited because we joined forces last year in September-ish. So we're super excited to offer you even more opportunities, jobs, benefits, everything, more recruiters, and it's going to be super exciting this year. We have a lot of things planned, and yeah, we're going on because one of you will win 2 tickets to TravCon today. You need to stay till the end though, so make sure you stay till the end of this session. But we know a lot of people asked us, what is TravCon? Especially, we have a lot of new people here, so I'll tell you a little bit about it. So TravCon is the biggest healthcare traveler event of the year in Las Vegas. It's happening at the Paris Hotel. You have a lot of agencies and recruiters there. You can meet them, you can talk to everyone, you can earn CEs. There are like a little sessions where you can join so that you can hear from top industry professionals, network with other travelers, yeah, kind of exchange like, hey, how did you get an assignment, things like that. So it's super exciting. And the best part is there will be a lot of free swag. So I would probably come with 2 suitcases because one will be just full with swag. And there are also a lot of cool giveaways. Let me tell you, last year we gave away a Louis Vuitton bag and a MacBook. And yes, these people were over the moon winning those items. So make sure you stop at our booth this year and get your tickets. It's happening in September 13th till 16th. And we have a promo code going on for $50 off. So it's TNAA 50. So maybe write this down real quick. And also, if you book or get your tickets right now till or by March 31st, you get 3 free hotel nights. So that's actually almost covers your whole trip. And we know Vegas is pricey. So get your tickets as early as you can. This promo is only lasting till, the end of March. But you're not here for me. You're here for a beautiful woman named Brandy Pinkerton. And let's get started, Brandy. Take it away.
Awesome. Hi, guys. I'm Brandy Pinkerton, and I am a fellow nurse just like you guys and have been in your exact shoes. And I created a platform called Travel Nurse 101 just to be the person I'd wish I had when I first got started traveling because I've learned everything the hard way, and everything that could possibly happen to you as a healthcare traveler has happened to me. I'm about to be on my 27th assignment, so been there and done that. And I'm just excited to be here today. So thank you, TNAA Total Med, for allowing me to be here to help host this session. And we'll get started. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah, Brandy, a lot of people ask us, what is healthcare travel or travel nursing? So tell us all about it.
Yes, we're going to just start with the basics, guys. So, travel healthcare professionals, licensed clinicians who take short term contracts all over the United States. And when I say short term, they are typically 13 weeks, occasionally 8 weeks for the most part. So, hospitals, as we know, we need help, man. We're on the struggle bus all around, and especially since the pandemic. And hospitals use travelers because they have and they will continue to have ongoing healthcare shortages, period. The science is proving it. There's going to remain a shortage for many, many years to come. So that's why they need travelers, as well as staff burnout and turnover is very, very high, as we know. Also, our fellow staff takes maternity leave, medical leave, vacation. So we're there in that interim to fill in that gap. They also need coverage, as we know, during surges like cold and flu season, RSV season. And so we are right in the midst of that right now. And so there's more ER visits, more pediatric and ICU admissions, more staff calling out sick, more beds opening. So they need us now more than ever. And the great thing is TNAA Total Med places travelers in all 50 states, and as well as Canadian RNs are welcome to work for TNAA as well. We do not currently, TNAA does not have international travel options. So this webinar is just going to pretty much be based for US travelers only. These surges, as we know, create more travel jobs. There are so many jobs coming in right now, guys, like it's unbelievable. They're very much needed right now. A lot of urgent needs, ICU, pediatric ICU, med surge, tele, PCU, ICU, respiratory, allied health. The jobs are booming for us right now. And it is one of the busiest hiring periods of the year. So you're in the right place right now to get started.
Awesome. And just let me tell you guys, if you have any questions, and I already see there's a lot going on in the chat, which we love, please put them in the chat because we're going to answer them at the end on our Q&A. So please put them in the chat. Well, moving on, Brandy, but why do people choose to travel?
That's a great question. And it's one of the most important here, honestly, because it's what I love to speak on, because people don't just travel for one reason, but mainly they do it for the freedom. And travelers choose this lifestyle for better pay. I've been a nurse for 24 years this month, which blows my mind. And I will still say it is still lucrative for me to be a traveler versus in a staff position after 24 years. Also, what travelers love is you get more control and flexibility over your own schedule. You can build in time off in your contract in between. That way, you can have all the fun you want to have, go on vacations during or in between assignments. The flexibility is key here. You have just more control over everything. The adventure aspect is huge. If you follow me on social media, which I highly recommend if you don't, I am at TravNurse101 on Instagram and Nurse Mentor Brandy. You can follow along all my adventures and you will see it is a vibe. It is a lifestyle. The adventure aspect, I cannot speak enough on. You get to see new places and meet new people and do things that you never normally would have gotten to do if you didn't leave your hometown. And you just can't even put a monetary value on those adventures and that aspect that you get to do all of these amazing things. You get to try on new hospitals and see if you like them without a long-term commitment. And I really, really like that too, because, going on permanent somewhere, you don't really know. You're taking a really big risk and you can go try them on as a traveler. And maybe you're like, you know what, one day I want to come back here after I stop traveling, and you've worked there and got, experience that unit and know that it's a good fit for you. So it really helps with your career growth as well. It helps you avoid burnout, which is just so huge. I could talk all day about burnout because after being a nurse as long as I have, like I know firsthandedly what it feels like. I've seen my fellow healthcare professionals go through burnout and it's more real than ever. And I will say being a traveler has helped with burnout so much because you don't feel stuck and you're constantly getting to go to new places and you have this momentum where you're in a new place and a month to 6 weeks in, you're already thinking about the next place you're going to go. So you stay excited and it gives you something to look forward to so you don't feel that burnout as heavy. and you can do anything for 13 weeks, I promise you. So it's really, really nice. Travel nursing helps you just keep nursing, but without losing yourself.
And Tad, I hope I pronounced your name right. He said control and flexibility is huge. And we second
Huge. Yes. And when you do a mentor session with me, which we'll talk later about how to do that, the very first thing I ask my mentees is, what is your why? Why do you want to be a traveler? And it goes back to these advantages right here. I hear over and over and over again. And it's that flexibility, that control, that adventure, man. It's just, there's nothing else like it. I promise you. Travel nursing was the best decision I could have made for myself professionally and personally, and I have no regrets.
Now, Brenda, you said you have no regrets, but who can be a healthcare traveler?
That's a great question. So, nurses, allied health, PTOT, MRI, radiology, we have opened the doors, and there are more jobs for allied healthcare professionals more than ever. And the pay is quite nice. The compensation packages are looking pretty good over there, guys. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should have been an allied healthcare professional. Just kidding. Tech, therapists, lab professionals. So there's lots of opportunity. TNAA Total Med, especially since they joined forces, they have more jobs than ever.
Now, talking about who can become a traveler, what do you need if you want to start traveling?
Yes, so checklist time. Here's what you need before you start. And most important is your experience. Most specialties require that you have minimally 1 year of recent bedside active experience in the specialty that you want to travel in. So that is really, really important. So if you want to travel as an ICU nurse, you need 1 year minimally of ICU experience. You need to have been active in the bed at the bedside in that last year. They don't really care as much what you did 5 years ago. I have some mentor sessions, and all these healthcare professionals, I talk to, they have wonderful experience, man. I mean, so much experience and like, oh my gosh, I've done this, this, and this over all of these years, and I did that, but I haven't been at the bedside. I've been doing management or I've been doing something else away from the bedside the last 3 years. And unfortunately, a lot of people have stepped away and they haven't been at the bedside in years. So if you've been doing management, education, stuff like that, it doesn't mean that you can't travel. It just means that you're going to have to go back to the bedside in the specialty that you want to travel in for about a year, and then you can become eligible to be to travel again. So a lot of people don't fully understand that, and kudos for all the experience that you have, because when they do see your profile and resume, you are going to stand out more than others. But these managers want to see that you can hit the ground running. We don't get a lot of orientation. So that's why it's so important to be active in that bedside for the last year in the specialty that you want to travel in. And a lot of people ask me, how do I know if I'm ready? I've only been a nurse, or a healthcare professional for a year. And, that's a very unique question that is individualized. And it's something I can kind of talk you through in a mentor session. But what I normally say is, when you are comfortable taking the sickest patient on your floor in your unit by yourself with minimal resources, you're ready. And so it's kind of a hard thing to gauge, but that's kind of like my role. If you're used to doing that and have the confidence to take those sickest patients, then you should be ready. And the great thing is your recruiter with TNAA Total Med will try to match you in a like-minded unit that you've been in. So they want to set you up for success too. So if you've been in a certain bed number, a level trauma center, they're going to try to match you very specifically with that type of unit, especially for your first assignment, so you can be successful, because that's what we want. We want to be safe and successful. TNAA will help you with your license and reimbursements if it's applicable. There's a lot of licensing costs, as we know. So, one of the great things is they will help you and they will also reimburse. So, be sure to ask your recruiter about state requirements. And you will also need your immunization record. So, don't stress if you're missing something, compliance is going to let you know. And TNAA Total Med Compliance onboarding will help you get the things that you need to get started. And every facility, hospital requires something different. So they'll make sure that you're credentialed to work in that facility. And bonus points for flexibility, adaptability, and a sense of adventure. It's so important to just have a flexible, open mindset if you're going to be a traveler.
Now, you already talked about that a little bit, but is now a good time to start?
Wonderful question. And yes, absolutely. I mentioned it in the beginning. I also just did a complete blog post over on travelnurse101.com about is now a good time to start. So the travel market has changed a little bit since COVID, as we know, right? So, but here is the truth. The travel nursing industry, the travel healthcare industry is still much larger than it was before the pandemic. Agencies and facilities are actively hiring. They needed our help yesterday. Demand remains very steady across the country, period. And yes, the compensation packages have changed, of course, since the pandemic when all of these hospitals were getting grants and stuff by the government, and they were having horrible working conditions. I don't ever want to see a pandemic again because it just almost ruined our profession. It was so hard. And so it is definitely stabilizing now, and those pay packages are stabling. But the demand is definitely still there. There is consistent job availability, um, best opportunities for those high demand specialties, like I mentioned earlier, med surg, tele, ICU, PCU, ER right now. And of course, the more flexible that you are, the easier it will be to, land some of the higher paying contracts if that is your main goal. And I will say, some of the hospitals that I've gone to as a traveler, the ones I least expected to love the most are the ones I ended up loving the most. There are hidden gems everywhere. And so, when I first started traveling, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go to Denver. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to, New York, all of these like tourist destinations. And I will say, I've hardly been to any of them. And I've been to so many amazing hidden gems. And so they're out there. So the travelers who win in this market are not always chasing the highest dollar. And I want to just talk a little bit about that is because usually, sometimes places that are paying the highest, that doesn't mean it's going to be the best. You're usually paying the highest for a reason, right? As we know, it could potentially be harsher working conditions, um, higher ratios, that sort of thing. So money isn't everything. Yes, it is important. I know that we all have to pay our bills, but all of the other advantages as, that come along with being a healthcare traveler is so important. So definitely keep those in mind. And we want you to build long-term success. And that's TNAA Total Med's goal too. And I really appreciate that. They want us to be successful for the long haul.
Now, planning the transition, can you give us some advice here?
Yes, absolutely. So it doesn't matter if you're thinking about traveling in a year, 6 months, 3 months. There's all kind of different transitions that we can talk more in depth in, especially if you schedule a mentor session. Also, if you talk to your recruiter about it. But you can go ahead and start doing things ahead of time. And the great thing about it is if you start kind of planning now, you don't feel so overwhelmed when it's time to get started on your assignment. And the biggest thing, which I'm going to talk a little bit more here in a minute, is your finances. But I definitely, one of the first things I talk about with my mentees again is you having a decent savings account built up ahead of time. So if you're thinking about traveling in the next year, you need to really focus on saving up right now and having a little nest egg because it's not a matter of if, but when things will not go to plan as a healthcare traveler. So you definitely want to plan this transition and you want to give your job, your staff job, a proper notice. And we can talk about that too more in depth because we never want to burn a bridge, right? And it's so important that you don't burn a bridge. And we can talk a little bit more about what that timeline looks like, but you should be able to have a contract, have your contract signed, and still have enough time after you've signed your contract to give the proper notification to your staff job. So don't panic about that. And again, we don't want to burn a bridge. We want to do it the right way because you never know if you want to go back one day. You likely are not going to want to. You're going to be so happily traveling, but it's nice to always be able to fall back on that, to be able to use those managers, charge nurses as references if you ever need it. So we always want to leave on good terms. It's very important. We want to protect our license, protect our reputation. So, like I said, even though once you leave, you likely will not want to go back, but we always want to leave that door open, of course. And also start thinking about your timing. Do you want a short break between contracts, or if you are leaving your staff job and going to start traveling, do you want to take a little break there? And all of that communication is going to go to your recruiter and you letting them know what you need so they can get to work for you and make all of your goals become reality.
And not to mention our not to forget to mention our pro tip: talk to your recruiter, or start talking to a recruiter if you don't have one yet, while you're still working staff, because you can't start early enough. Just a little tip from us. And Brandy, we all need a traveler profile. So yeah, what do I need and how do I do that?
Yes, and this seems a little bit overwhelming, but don't let it be. This is really like your recruiter is going to razzle dazzle your profile and make you look beautiful on paper for that hiring manager. You will need an up-to-date, work history. So a resume, again, it doesn't have to be pretty, but it just has to have an up-to-date your work history. It's so important. Highlight your experience, anything that's going to make you stand out on your resume to these hospitals, like you've been a charge nurse, you've been a preceptor, you've been an Epic super user, you're a Daisy Award recipient. Like those are all great things that if you put on your resume, your recruiter can put in your profile. And sometimes the competition can be fierce. And so that's why we want to highlight some of those special things that you may have done throughout your healthcare career. You will have to do a skills checklist, which your recruiter will send to you. And I talked about the resume that will have all of your experience, any specialty equipment training that you may have, like you've done ECMO or CCRT or whatever, and that sort of thing you want to be able to put there. Definitely highlight that on your resume. Be sure to communicate with your recruiter about your availability and your location preferences. And again, definitely like let them know where you would like to go. You could even start making a list of some places you'd like to go, or places that you've seen that is always a facility that you've wanted to travel to, whether that be for the hospital, the facility, to grow your resume, or the specific area because you want to be in that destination. So you can have those preferences, but again, I really challenge you to be open-minded about them because there's so many great places out there that I never even knew existed. You will need two references that are charge nurse or above, so keep that in mind. And that is one of the things too I talk a lot about with my mentees is they're like, "Ooh, hey, I'm trying to figure out who to use for my references, but I'm not giving my job a notice yet, so it can get a little tricky." So just book a mentor session with me and I can kind of guide you through that, maybe how to do that before you've given in your notice. Also, be sure to communicate with your recruiter your preferred shifts, unit type, housing needs, and we're also going to give you all a traveler toolkit just for attending this session today. So be on the lookout. It's going to help you stay organized and confident.
Yeah, and as Brandy mentioned, there's a little resume template and like an interview yeah example in it, so that will help you just make sure to check your email inboxes after this session. Now, we already talked about recruiters. Now, how do I get one? How do I find one? And what is a good recruiter, or what makes a good recruiter?
All great questions and that everyone asks. One of the number one things I get asked is, how do I pick an agency and how do I pick a recruiter? And I will tell you that all agencies and recruiters are not created equal in this industry. So this is something to take very, very serious, to do your due diligence, do your, get education, do your research, and you want to make sure that you are going with the company and agency that is a full support agency. Number one, that is Joint Commission accredited. Even though we have a love-hate relationship with the Joint Commission, they do hold these agencies to a higher standard. So pick an agency that has all of these resources for you, like TNAA Total Med, to help you be successful for the long haul. And that is just so important. And then when it comes to picking a recruiter, number one, you want to pick a recruiter that you mesh well with, that you feel like you have a great open communication with. That is a two-way street. If you want them to communicate well with you, you have to also communicate with them timely. You want them to be transparent. You want them to act quickly, because in travel healthcare, timing is of the essence, right? Again, these managers needed our help yesterday. We want our profile to be the first one on that manager's desk when a job pops open. So having a responsive recruiter is very, very important, because they're going to be the ones that submit you to that job. And so they're going to be your number one person. They're going to be your advocate, like your best friend. It is like a marriage material relationship. And that's how I kind of say it. Like, it goes both ways, and you two work very, very closely together. So you've got to tell them what you want, what you need, what your goals are, because if they don't know, we can't expect them to read our mind. But as soon as we tell them what we need, they can go to work hard for you, making all of those travel healthcare dreams come true, right? So they're going to be your guide and your first point of contact. So definitely, try to have those open conversations that are sometimes hard to have. That's okay. You have to do what is best for you. And again, the more that they know, the more they can help you. So open conversations about pay are always encouraged. Transparency does go both ways. So just know that. And just talking a little bit about pay rates, they come from the facility, right? They come from the facility's budget. They're based on supply and demand. This is a supply and demand driven industry, period, as well as your specialty. So your recruiter will be honest about what's possible. It doesn't hurt to always talk to them about it to see if they can negotiate. If the compensation package isn't just quite what you need, talk to them about it and see if they can go back to the table and negotiate for you. And they will try, and they'll come and tell you, yes, I can do this, or no, unfortunately, this is the max that we're able to do for this contract. But you can assure that if you've asked them, that they will come back, they will fight for you. It's so important to know that they have your back in all aspects.
All right, how are we planning the finances? I know you said save up as much as you can, so yeah, tell
Yes,
us
this
all
is
about it.
so important, guys. I just can't speak enough about this. So many people are like, hey, I'm going to become a travel healthcare so I can do XYZ financially. And that is putting the cart before the horse. And I have had this personally happen to me. My very first assignment, I was not prepared when it came to this. I said the same thing. I'm going to take this assignment and then I'm going to build up a savings account. I was a single mama, and man, just times were hard. So definitely you have to think about this now. You have to have a savings account. Just like I said, because it's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when, that something is going to go according not to plan. Like, the little hiccups are going to happen. And I don't want one hiccup to financially break your entire experience, where you number one, have to make a decision that's not best for you, or number two, that makes you have to go back to a staff job. So having a little nest egg is very, very, very important. I can't speak enough about that. But the great thing is TNAA Total Med benefits start on day one. And that is so helpful. That's so awesome. Your medical benefits start day one. We need that. We're not in a position, to not have medical health care and insurance, most of us. So I really appreciate that from these full support agencies. And you will be able to understand how your pay and benefits are structured. Your recruiter will lay all of that out for you. You can talk about relocation costs to think about, and they do typically do some travel reimbursement that is on your first paycheck depending on IRS requirements and that sort of thing. So they offer a lot of support to help you be successful. And then something to think about too is just making sure that you truly understand your total compensation package. And it is based on, it has your stipends and it has your taxable hourly pay. So know that there's a difference in how each is handled. But being ready financially is just so important. And, we're going to talk more about this, I believe, in the next slide too, for sure. But also understanding the tax compliance things are also very important when it comes to traveling. There it is.
Under- yeah, help us understand what's taxable.
Yes, so travel pay packages often include both taxable, which are your hourly wages, and your non-taxable, which is your housing, meals, and incidental stipend component. So make sure you fully understand that. If you don't, your recruiter can break it down for you as well and help explain. But knowing the difference helps you plan and track your earnings accurately. And every single one of our situations is unique. So I am a nurse. I am not a tax person. That's one of the first things, too. If you ask me a tax question, I will say, hey, guys, I would never want to steer you wrong. So be very careful where you're getting advice. That includes on social media. Like, I hate to see it, but I see so many posts. I love the Gypsy Nurse Facebook group, but sometimes I just cringe at what people are saying about tax implications. Again, you're getting advice there from fellow healthcare travelers, not a true tax person. And this is something you have to get right. It is so important. And so I definitely recommend consulting a tax professional. TNAA Total Med teams can help explain how everything works and is structured. But definitely, I highly recommend using travel tax, or if you have a different tax professional for guidance, because they are the experts. And we have a really great announcement. I was super excited. I will be right in this session with you guys because I'm always constantly like wanting to know the new tax implications. But TNAA Total Med is going to host a traveler tax informational session next month, February 18th at 2 p.m. with travel tax. So be sure you want to be there. Trust me, like don't miss this one. It's going to be so great. And more details to come as well on that session, but that is so exciting.
Yeah, mark your calendars. We'll send out links very soon so you can follow us on our social media accounts and check out or keep an eye on your email inboxes. We'll send out the sign up and register information for this session soon. Now, Brandy, we applied. Now, what are we doing next?
Sure, you have applied. That is the hardest part. Deciding to go and to take the leap is the hardest part, guys. And then after that, after you make that decision, you're likely going to be like, why did I wait so long? Why did I not do this sooner? That's the hardest part, I promise. And compliance is kind of hard because it's just the part we don't want to do, but we have to do. But deciding to go is the biggest step. And I promise we're here to help you every step of the way on making that decision. So you've applied, now what? Phone calls, texts, emails, it all can feel a little bit overwhelming. And that is why we're here. That is why I'm here. But it's all just support. So don't be overwhelmed. So again, your recruiter is going to be your main point of contact. they're going to get you set up with the application process, get you vetted, and that way they can start submitting you to jobs, right? So they will talk to you and let you know, hey, Brandy, I see these jobs popping open. Are you interested in more information? They will send you, it's usually called an ABS, and it has all the information that you could ever want to know about this job and facility, the pay breakdown, all of those things. They will send that over to you, and then you need to make a decision from there and quickly because these jobs move very fast. Do you want to be submitted to this job? Yes, I want you to submit me. Go ahead. So your recruiter submits you over to the facility. Great. And next we wait because you have to be ready to pick up that phone any call because anytime, excuse me, because we're going to be hoping that that manager is going to give you a call for an interview and they could call anytime. And if you can answer the phone when they call, that is so important because again, like I said, they needed help yesterday. So if you don't answer or if there's a big delay in your response time to getting back to that manager, they may decide to move on to the next candidate, in which you don't want, right? So try to answer your phone. I literally have answered my phone all kinds of places for an interview. I'm a true expert at it. And I've been in Target. My most recent one, I was at this fair. My little niece was showing her pig, and it's so funny. I was at a pig show and the manager called me and I was like, I'm not missing her phone call, right? Like I'm gonna answer the phone. And so I laughed with her and I was like, hi, and started talking. I was like, if you hear a pig noise in the background, I promise it's not me. Like I'm at a pig show for my niece, but I was not gonna miss your phone call. And she just laughed and she's like, Brandy, I think that's the first time I've ever heard that in an interview. But guess what? I got the job. And so just pick up the phone. And so you'll have your interview. And we do have all the questions for you to ask that you're going to be asked as well. We have all the support for you to do really well in that interview. But just know if you make it to the interview process, they already know that they want you. They've already seen your profile that your recruiter sent over. So unless you just completely bomb that, you're already in, right? So give yourself a little bit of grace. Don't be nervous during the interview because they already know that they want you, right? So next comes the job offer, which is so great. And then very quickly, we start moving into compliance because they want to get you started ASAP. So the compliance comes. It's not the funnest part of the job, but hey, we got to hurry and do it right because we want to get to this assignment and we don't want to be delayed. So the compliance specialist will reach out to you about all the things that they need. They will look at the facility's requirements on the immunizations, your drug screen, your physical, and probably some other testing as well. We'll make sure the licensing credentialing expert will make sure that you're covered with your license and certifications. And then the fun part is housing. And TNAA Total Med has a dedicated housing department to help you. It's all they do. And that resource just is incredible because every agency doesn't have that. And as we know, in this market that we're living in, housing's hard, it's expensive. And so we need that help. And so they're available to help you find housing that fits your lifestyle and budget.
And also, it's very important. They also make sure it's safe for you. So you're not going in an area and, you might not come or make it home. So they're really on top of things. All right. You already said it after you sign your first contract. Do you just want to recap that a little bit for us one more time? Since it
Yes.
is a lot.
Yes. This is your like your your awe moment. You did it. You did it. Like the rest is going to be amazing, right? So the compliance, get through that. Then you get to start focusing on the fun stuff like packing. And I have tons of packing tips over at travelnurse101.com on my blog section. We have so many resources for you, but I will tell you less is more on every assignment. You will nail it down. You'll get better and better. You'll be like, you know what? I needed this. I didn't need this. I can leave this at home. a lot depends on your housing and you just, seeing what your housing is going to have there for you so you know what to bring and what you don't need. So pack light. You can always buy stuff when you're on assignment if you need to. And again, you're gonna learn as you do every assignment more and more. I've like pretty much nailed down what I need and I know it. You also can travel with pets. We've got lots of resources for you if you are wanting to travel with your pets. So don't let that deter you. I successfully traveled with my two doggies for a majority of their lives before they passed away, and they loved the lifestyle as much as I did. I was counting, I think they lived in like 16 different places. So it can definitely be done. And now I have a new doggie who is almost 2, and he travels with me also. So there's so many resources for you, and it's just so great having your fur kiddos on assignment there. It really helps with loneliness and stuff too. So you'll have to think about handling your mail and your family logistics, but we're not going to go too much into detail about that for this session today. So the biggest thing is I want you to know that temporary doesn't mean uncomfortable. Comfort and convenience matter, and you can make your temporary housing on assignment feel like home. We've got lots of tips to help you to bring some things that make it feel like home for you.
All right, assignment logistics and charting systems.
Yes, this is a hesitation that a lot of people have because, we're just like, ooh, we're used to our certain charting system that we've been doing at our facility. And I will tell you, before it's all done, you will have done all of them. And the main ones are Epic, Cerner, Meditech, and I feel like I'm missing one. But I think those are the main ones. But don't let that deter you because, a new charting system is going to be okay. Your first week of orientation, usually the first day, you have some hospital orientation and it will include a short orientation for the charting system. And they usually also, your agency, your recruiter, your unit, hospital will have some refresher modules for you, some vendor demos on YouTube. You also will have some shadow shifts on the unit, usually 2 to 3 shifts with another healthcare professional that is precepting you that you will have that time to learn about the EMR system. So relax, it's okay. You will have time, that first week to really, really get your feet wet with that system. So don't let it be a deterrent for you. And also, one of the pro tips here is in your resume, list all charting systems that you've used so they can put it on your profile. And also, that helps match you to similar EMR systems.
Now we're approaching our first day or first week. So yeah,
This
what
is the fun part. You made it. You're there. Woohoo! And congratulations. Congrats, guys. I highly recommend, if you can at all possible, this doesn't always happen, arrive to your housing early. Prep ahead so you can get there a few days early just to get settled. That way you can get settled in your housing, get all situated, drive around, see where the coffee shop is, see where the hospital is, maybe where you're going to park that first day, lay out your scrubs, meal prep, get all your stuff in order that way you are ready to go that first week. That first week is the hardest. I'm not going to lie, but it gets better and better every single week. But that first of week is just so important that you take full advantage of it because you're going to learn all the things and you are going to understand, where you're at, what you're doing. I highly encourage you, if you have one takeaway from this slide for me, is to go meet your manager and scheduler in person if you can that first or second week. I want them to be able to put your face with your name because up until this point, they've only seen your name come across in an email or, some of the systems that they're using. I want them to know your face because that way, if you have an issue or concern at any point, they're going to remember you. And that relationship building is so important because, again, you go make buddy buddy with that scheduler, whatever it takes, you bring in some cookies. I don't know, because they're going to be doing your schedule. And so go get to know them and meet them. Make an effort to go shake their hand and let them put your name with your face. It's just so important. Like one takeaway, take that. But your first week is the one to make those introductions, to ask the questions, to make your orientation count. So pay attention, right? It's just so important because you're going to get all of your logins that week as well. You're going to meet your preceptor, you're going to go to your unit. And again, it's a lot, it's overwhelming. Give yourself grace. Every week it will get better and better and easier and easier. And even after 26 assignments, I still feel a little nervous. I don't think that ever completely goes away because we're human. I think it would be more worrisome if you were not nervous at all because it's like this happiness and excitement, but like a little bit of jitters. And that's a good thing. So just know that you're normal for sure. But TNAA, Total Med, your recruiter are also there for you as well.
Now, the question, what if something goes wrong though? What can I do? Do you have any advice for us? You've been there.
Lots of advice. Lots of advice. And as we know, nothing is perfect. Our staff job, our travel job, nothing in the world is perfect. It's going to not be picture perfect every time. Things are going to go not according to our plan. And I'm kind of type A, and this career has taught me to be like, you know what? Stop being so type A. Does that really matter? It's really helped me grow in a way that I have really let loose. I'm a little more flexible. I roll with the punches a little bit more, and I know that it's all going to be okay because I'm with an agency and recruiter that are going to have my back at the end of the day, right? So we can't control everything. And it's so important. Again, that's why when you're picking an agency and recruiter, you want someone who is going to be there for you when things go wrong because they're going to. It's just the nature of the beast. It's not going to always be 100% perfect, but I promise you it will be worth it. So you want them to be able to advocate for you. And one of the number one things I love about TNAA Total Med is they have a dedicated clinical team that most of them are nurses. They're active at the bedside, and majority of them have been travelers before. So they understand first-handedly what it feels like to be in those situations. Majority of the recruiters, I love you guys, but they're not clinicians always. There's a few that are, and they do understand what we're going through, but it's so nice to have a clinical person there if you need them. And hopefully you don't ever need them, but they're there if you do. So it's just very, very important to have that support through any problems that you have. But if discrimination or any unsafe conditions occur, TNAA Total Med will investigate and act. So always be sure to document, communicate, and ask for help. Contract cancellations, they do happen. Again, it is a risk of this industry, but again, I promise you the rewards outweigh the risk every single time. And your recruiter will go to work very fast, efficiently to get you another assignment. And that's why having a little nest egg in your savings account will also help you if something happens with a contract cancellation. They are far and few between. I have had it happen to me. So I'm happy to always talk you through any of those reservations as well if it is a concern for you.
All right, Brandy, you already mentioned it many times. Tell us about your mentorship session.
Yes, my other favorite. I have so many favorite parts. Have y'all noticed? I think it's just I love talking about travel and I'm so passionate about it and I want everybody to have a great experience like I have with it. And so just love it. But I am here for you guys. I just want you to know that if you go to my website, they're going to also drop the link in the chat. We'll take you directly to Calendly. You can sign up for a complimentary mentor session with me. I can get to know you a little bit about your personal experience, what you're going through, and how I can best be a resource for you and help you prep, plan, thrive. I'm here to be a resource for you throughout your entire experience through your assignment as well as your recruiter. But I am here for you. I'm one of you. I've walked your shoes. I know what it feels like. So go sign up.
Yes. And I would suggest if you all could open that link right now so you have the page open and you can schedule your session right after we're done here. So make sure you open this link now so you have it saved. and then we'll move on. Why you are all opening the link right now? Just a little bit why travelers choose to travel with TNAA Total Med. We won quite a few awards. The Gypsy Nurse, Nurse.org, Best Nurse Staffing Agency, Best Travel Nursing Agency. It's been an honor because everyone who voted was a real traveler. So it was no bots or anybody. It was like really voted from or by real travelers. They always hype about and yeah, love us for their personalized experience. They always tell us like it feels so great to be an actual human, an actual person with you guys, and not just a number. I feel like with other agencies, I'm just a number. They just put a check mark behind me once they're done, and yeah, that really stands out. And we even have travelers telling us how appreciative they are that our recruiters are basically, or it feels like they're basically on 24/7, even on the weekends. They can reach out whenever, and they always get a hold of their recruiters. So they really are there for you, and that really stands out. Yeah, why travelers choose to travel with us. And we have something for you because if you know somebody who wants to start traveling, refer them to us because you'll get $1,000. And get that, there's no limit on how many you can refer. So just think, if you refer 5 people to us and they're qualified, you get $1,000 for every initial referral. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lot of money. So if you have somebody, we'll also put a link in the chat, and we'll do the same thing. Open the link now, so you have the window open, and you can refer, yeah, everyone right after. I give you just a few seconds so everyone is able to open the links because we have one more thing to tell you. And that's for everyone who's new here and decides, yeah, I want to start traveling with TNAA Total Med. You are eligible for a $500 sign-on bonus. Again, you must be a new traveler to us. And yeah, you have to accept your assignment with us within 90 days of the session. Then you get $500 on us. So we also put a link in the chat. There's a lot of work for you to do here. I know. Nobody thinks that's going to be yeah, easy for you. So you have 3 links, 3 things to do after the session. Schedule a session with Brandy, refer somebody to us, and if you're new and want to start traveling with us and get your $500, you fill out this form, and I'll give you a few more seconds to
And
open
don't
all
forget
these.
to go to TravCon. Add that to
Yes.
your list too. I cannot speak enough volume of go to TravCon. It is like the event of the year. You're going to make so many new friends. We all keep going back year after year and to see each other, to learn. And we're also like, we travel outside of TravCon like throughout the year and do meetups and stuff. And this will be my 5th year to go this next year. And Travel Nurse 101 will also have a booth, but it's so fun, you guys. You got to go. It's totally worth it if you're considering it.
Yeah, and if you're still on, you still have a chance to win 2 tickets to TravCon, so stay on. We're almost done. Time for questions. We already received some, I know, but if you have more, please put them in the chat, and then we'll get started here. All right, let me look. Okay, James is asking, are there ever opportunities to get oriented to a new specialty as a traveler?
That's a great question, James. And typically, no. And the reason why is, again, we are in a new hospital, new coworkers, new EMR system, potentially. The last thing we want to do is have to question our clinical skills. However, there is opportunity, say you're in a unit and your buddy has a sicker patient or is doing CRRT or ECMO or something you're interested in learning but don't have experience in, by all means, you can jump in and help. But it's very, very hard as a traveler to get cross trained. I definitely would recommend you stopping travel, go back to that specialty that you're wanting to switch to for a year and get that really solid experience. That way, you're being safe and you have the experience that you need to be successful, in that type of environment and unit.
Bernadette and Becky are basically asking the same question. Do you offer health insurance? And if you take a break, how long is your coverage?
Very great question. Again, we need a full support agency, which TNAA Total Med does and has everything that you could possibly need or want as a traveler to be successful for the long run. So yes, they have day one insurance, and all agencies don't have that. I saw in the comments there's some that make you wait 30 days. There was one back in the day, I feel like they even made me wait 3 months, and I'm like, well, my assignment's over. So day one insurance is so important, especially for those of us who need health insurance and don't have a spouse, or somebody else to cover us. So I do believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, double check with your recruiter, but I believe that if you are on assignment with TNAA Total Med and you book your next assignment before your current one ends, your insurance will cover you for 30 days in between assignment. So again, clarify that, just ask more questions. But again, that makes TNAA Total Med stand out because that way you don't have to go get Cobra or be like, oh my gosh,
Yes,
the day my contract ends, I don't have health insurance anymore, and I want to take a few weeks off to go on a trip or visit my family. Book that
yes.
next assignment and you will be covered.
Brandy, you're correct with the 30 days. Yes.
Sweet. Perfect.
All right. Melanie just said 30 days is great. Okay, awesome. Adeline asked, generally, how much dollars should we save? Should we have saved as our nest egg?
Great question, too. And I think that it is going to vary a little bit for everybody. All of our financial goals, our bills aren't the same. So it's one of the things I talk about in the beginning of my mentor sessions, too, is I'm like, hey, you got to make a budget for yourself. Whatever that is, write down all your bills. And that way you know how much money you have to make to pay your bills, to save money, to reach your financial goals. I think that's step number one, right? Because that way you'll know how much you need to make off an assignment weekly to pay your bills. So, based off that, also, I encourage you to take the next step and go ahead. And I usually save like 3 months worth of savings would be ideal. Of course, maybe you're not quite there, you're a little bit short, based on what that budget is for you, 3 months worth of that would be just perfect, if you can.
And now we're at time, but we have a few more questions. I think we can do like three more. And a lot of you ask if the health insurance covers spouses as well. And we say yes, your spouses are covered if you wish to as well. All right. I mean, you select for them. So yes, what you want them to have covered, health insurance, life insurance, all that stuff. So okay, I saw one more question, which I thought is really interesting. Zing wants to know, curious if there's an advisable age limit to do traveling.
I love that, Zing. What a good question. And absolutely not. There is no set way to have to do this. Some of us do it in our 20s when we're newer nurses and have got our year experience or 2 years experience before we have kids and get married, and others have done it after when they're empty nesters or whatever. There is no right or wrong time to do this, and that's okay. So you can do it. I see all age groups from 20s to retirement, and everybody's like in a different situation. Some people, they're even retired. I've had some lately and they're like, you know what? I'm retired, but I want to go travel and see places and like have the money to do it. And this allows me to do that. Or I have people, like I said, newer nurses that aren't married and before they get married and have kids and get locked down a little bit, want to do it. I have mentored people who have families and kids and pets that decide to all go do it together. I mean, everybody's life situation is different, and it is never too late. So I say if it is in your heart and on your mind, go for it because I don't know about you, but I don't want to have regrets. When I'm an old lady, hopefully laying on my deathbed, I don't want to wish I had done this. I can say, I did it. I lived it. I did it all. And so there's no right or wrong answer to that. So it's never too late.
That is very true. And LJ is just asking how soon did we get insurance? We already answered this question. So you get insurance once your contract starts, so day one. And yes, thank you, Melanie. You already answered it in the chat, and then you're covered 30 days if you have your next assignment scheduled when you're off. Okay, I don't see any more questions. Make sure you have all the links safe or open because we're about to close the session. And yeah, that was it for today already. Yeah, we'll notify the winner for the TravCon tickets right after the session. So yeah, make sure you check your email inbox, and we'll also send out the traveler toolkits with the resume template and the interview template and all that stuff. And yeah, thank you all for joining us today. Hopefully we see you all next month, February 18th, in our tech session. As Brandy mentioned, that's going to be very, very, yeah, exciting and a lot of info. So yeah, we'll send out the info soon for that one. And yeah, in case you joined late or want to like share this session with somebody who's looking into traveling, it has been recorded and will be available on demand. If you want to go back or share it with a friend, probably by tomorrow. We'll also send this out probably by tomorrow, and then check your inboxes. You will have a link for that. And all right, guys, thank you all. Brandy, thank you a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us today, guys. And we hope to hear from you soon. We're here for you when you're ready.
Yes, and tag us if you start, or tag us on social media if you start your travel contract. We would love to follow your adventures. And yeah, as always, if you have any questions, email us, send us a DM on social media. And yeah, everyone, enjoy the rest of your days, and see you next time.